Part 1. Cleansing your body. 1. Your revolution starts with a 10-day cleanse. Talk about sensory overload. Sari-clad women rode side saddle on dusty scooters as their husbands took daring risks through chaotic intersections. Turbaned men propelled bicycle-powered rickshaws with entire families in tow. And dark smoke from exhaust-spewing three-wheel taxis blackened the sky as our transport vehicle weaved its way past roadside markets and tin-roofed lean-tos. Welcome to the colorful sights and pungent smells of southeastern India. It was early December 2012, and our group was traveling from Srikakulam, a crowded, extremely depressed city of 2.7 million, back to our hotel in Visakhapatnam, called VZAG for short, following an evangelistic crusade presented by my good friend, Dr. Pete Shulak, a chiropractor from Knoxville, Tennessee, and an international evangelist and president of Matthew 10 International Ministries. I don't care much for international travel. That's actually putting it mildly. As someone who's dealt with huge digestive issues in the past, traveling halfway around the world to a place where people strongly encourage you not to drink the water, eat the food, or open your mouth when taking a shower makes traveling to third world countries problematic for me. I did my due diligence on researching the region I was heading to, although I wish someone had told me that bathrooms typically don't come equipped with toilet paper, and many homes lack toilets, period. At any rate, I packed an arsenal of nutritional supplements that included probiotics and digestive enzymes. I brought along several homeopathic remedies to battle everything from dysentery to puncture wounds to even malaria. I traveled to India as part of the Matthew 10 ministry team spearheaded by Dr. Pete Shulak, whose great-grandparents risked their lives nearly a century ago to take the gospel to the headhunters of Nagaland, a state in the far northeastern part of India. Christianity spread like wildfire among the Naga tribes, who left the old tribal customs and brutal traditions, such as preserving the heads of their enemies as trophies, for new cultural and spiritual practices. Today, more than 95% of the Naga people claim to be Christians. Here is the fascinating twist to this story. Churches in Nagaland were praying that a descendant of Dr. Shulak's great-grandparents would return to India to evangelize souls. When Dr. Pete heard about this, it confirmed in his heart that the Lord was calling him to India to win 1 billion souls for the gospel. Dr. Pete had been making annual crusades to India since 2005. When he visited our home to describe his exciting work, he looked at me and my wife, Nikki, and said, "You're welcome to join us on our next trip." I could tell Nikki was extremely interested in taking Dr. Pete up on his offer. After he left for the evening, Nikki said to me, "We're going." There was no way I could deny her or the way God was leading us to India, so I signed on as well. As for my concern about the food and cleanliness of India, I knew the trip wouldn't be easy, but I also knew God had a plan for that, too. Meanwhile, my 8-year-old son Joshua was in the midst of a spiritual awakening at that time. He had 8 dreams over an 11-day period and described one of them to Nikki as she was driving him home from school. "Mom, I had a dream last night, and God told me that we're going to India." Nikki nearly drove out of her lane, then caught herself. Neither of us had mentioned to Joshua or his 2 younger siblings that we were going to India. The trip was still 8 months away, and India wasn't a normal dinner table conversation in our household. "Who's we?" she asked. "Me, you, and Dad." "Well, Joshua, your father and I are going to India. We're planning to go on a gospel crusade with an evangelistic team just after Thanksgiving." "Who are you going with?" "Dr. Pete Shulak." Joshua nodded. He'd met Dr. Pete before, as well as his 4 sons, 2 of whom were close to Joshua's age. They had spent some time together a few months earlier. "Well, I'm going too." "But you don't have a passport," Nikki said. "Then let's get me one." Nikki and I had never planned on bringing our 8-year-old to a third world country where we would be concerned not only for his health, but also for his safety. When you bring together large crowds and preach the gospel in a land dominated by Hinduism, 80% of the country, with Islam making inroads, 12% of the populace, things could get dicey. After Nikki told me about their conversation, we discussed what we should do. We then prayed about the decision. When we felt the leading of the Lord to have Joshua join us, I knew we had to ask Dr. Pete if that would be okay. No young child had ever been part of his international crusades, so Joshua would be the first. When we made the request to bring Joshua, Dr. Pete smiled. "We'd be honored to have him," he said. The long journey from South Florida to southeastern India was grueling, more than 27 hours en route. But what a rich and rewarding experience for the three of us. Joshua was a welcome addition to our 12-person group during our prayer and worship meetings. He witnessed 4 evangelistic rallies before audiences that numbered 20,000 people on the first night and more than 80,000 the last night. He saw thousands saved and healed, and he heard me testify to God's healing power to 80,000 Srikakulamians at an outdoor field teeming with people as far as the eye could see. While returning from the awe-inspiring evangelistic event in Srikakulam, I was lost in my thoughts as our car motored along. I glanced outside at the dark Indian countryside and felt I heard the Lord's voice. He said, "Jordan, I know this was a big sacrifice for you to come to India." Yes, there was the commitment of time and money, and the Lord knew I had grave concerns about traveling so far and my difficulties adjusting to foreign lands. I had some rough experiences while in Indonesia and South Africa, even in a Western country such as Australia. But Nikki felt called to go. Joshua really wanted to join us in India as well. Even though I had a lot of personal trepidation, I knew we were supposed to be part of Dr. Pete's Matthew 10 team. An outline for the Daniel diet. It was rewarding to watch how the Lord was moving in the subcontinent of India. We witnessed thousands receive Christ as their Savior, and I saw people run to the altar when Dr. Pete invited them to follow Jesus and receive all that he had waiting for them. I saw Indian people healed of diseases, released from addictions, and set free from demons tormenting their souls. Quite frankly, I had never witnessed anything like it, and I was humbled by the transforming power of God. And then I heard his voice again while in the car driving back to our hotel. "Because you have honored me by coming all the way to India, I am going to honor you by giving you an innovative idea and strategy to transform the health of my people each and every night of the crusade." "Really, Lord?" I whispered. "Really." I received the idea for the Daniel diet on the night of the first crusade, as well as several other unique nutritional concepts during my trip. The Lord gave me the outline for an authentic 10-day partial fasting program consisting of the foods and beverage similar to what Daniel and his 3 friends consumed some 2,600 years ago. "Prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink." Daniel 1:12 ASV. Upon my return to Florida, I couldn't wait to start formulating what I would call the Daniel diet. I researched the definition of pulse and discovered that pulse consists of all leguminous plants. Pulse is nutrient-dense and high in fiber, contains beneficial fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals, contains no cholesterol, has a low glycemic index, and is high in protein. Examples of pulse would be fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, and grains. I enlisted my team at Beyond Organic to help me create 3 blends of nutrient-dense pulse that people could consume exclusively during a 10-day period. Next, I decided to test the idea. It just so happened that each year in January, the congregation my family has attended for the last 4 years, Generation Church in nearby Jupiter, invited me to speak on the topic of fasting. 6 weeks after getting back from India, I preached on the benefits of fasting and laid out the foundation for the Daniel diet. I shared the story of Daniel and invited the church members to join me on a Daniel diet where we would eat only pulse and drink only water for 10 days, commit to pray corporately 3 times per day on conference calls, and meet each evening for a time of worship, teaching, and prayer. As I write these words, there have been over 400 people who have championed the Daniel diet. Together, we consumed only EA Pulse, a nutrient-dense blend of raw and or sprouted organic fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, legumes, and herbs, and drank only structured water. The results of the Daniel diet were unexpected and unbelievable. We had one individual lose 24 pounds in just 10 days. I lost 19 pounds, which was shocking since I'm not overweight and carry only a small amount of body fat. I went from 193 pounds to 174 lean and mean pounds. We saw dozens of men lose 15, 13, and 11 pounds. We had women lose 11 or 10 pounds in 10 days. Nikki, who's thin to begin with, lost 8 pounds. My children even went on the Daniel diet. And even though they did not lose weight or even need to lose weight, they were more energetic, had clearer skin, zero nasal congestion, improvements in behavior, and slept great. While these results were extraordinary, the average reported weight loss for male participants in the 10-day Daniel diet was 14.5 pounds, and the average weight loss for female participants was 8.3 pounds. This is truly remarkable considering that each participant consumed between 1,200 and 1,500 nutrient-dense calories daily. These results defy the common understanding that in order to lose weight, you must greatly reduce calories. As I mentioned, a diet of EA Pulse is close to 1,500 calories a day, a number that has historically been shown to result in weight loss averaging 1 pound a week. Yet we had plenty of folks losing weight at a rate nearly 10 times faster. That's why I've decided to make the 10-day Daniel diet the centerpiece of the Maker's Diet Revolution program. I believe when you experience these incredible results for yourself, you'll be compelled to share your experience with others who will do the same. This will be the start of a health revolution in your life, your family, your church, your city, your state, and our nation. 10 days to transform your life. I know a lot of people talk about fasting and cleansing, and there are stacks of books out there on these topics, but I believe there is something supernatural about committing 10 days of your life to eating the best of God's creation, drinking the water provided from heaven, and spending time in prayer and meditation on the Word of God. For the first time in more than 2,600 years, you are going to unlock the cleansing secret from the Bible and experience a radical transformation in body, mind, and spirit. Ever since the Lord gave me the outline for this 10-day program, I've been recommending the Daniel diet to people all over the world who are desperately in need of a health transformation, and their testimonies are compelling, to say the least. If you have 10 days to devote to your health and want to treat your body to the ultimate cleanse and detoxification program, this would be it. The Daniel diet is a way to cleanse your body while experiencing the miracle of fasting. So don't delay. Make tomorrow the first day of your own health revolution. The Daniel diet. The Daniel diet is a partial fast involving the consumption of only water and pulse for 10 days, the seeking of God's face in daily prayer 3 set times per day, and daily Bible study and learning. The Daniel diet is based on the first chapter of the book of Daniel, which describes how Daniel and 3 young compatriots from Judah were taken into captivity. Instead of consuming the king's delicacies, they asked to consume only foods that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had blessed. Paraphrasing from the New King James Version, we learn this: "Please test your servants for 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance be examined before you." Then at the end of the 10 days, their features appeared better and healthier than all the young men who ate a portion of the king's delicacies. And for these 4 youths, God gave them learning and skill in all literature and wisdom. According to my understanding of the Hebrew definition of pulse, I have created what I believe to be an authentic Daniel diet. Why fast? The Daniel diet gives you many of the benefits of fasting, but is much easier and simpler to follow, and doesn't come with the potential dangers of going without food. Now, you may be asking why it's important to fast. The answers are numerous, but the main reason to fast, in my opinion, is to receive breakthrough in areas of your life that nothing else can bring, and to open doors that cannot be opened by anything else.